I heard a video where a guy said one of the least thought through objections from people who keep Torah to modern day Christians is, if the law's done away with, is it now okay to murder and steal? He said that's silly, nobody thinks that. And then he begins to say it's not wrong to murder because murder existed back in Genesis 9, capital punishment, whoever sheds man's blood. We don't have to go to the Torah of Moshe. It's not wrong to practice homosexuality, not because of the Torah of Moshe, but because of Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 19. So the law existed way before Moshe and all that. And the reality is that his argument is just not very well thought through, and that the argument that if the law is done away with, then it would be okay to murder and steal is a legit argument. It's legit. And Christians don't want to accept it, and so they try to reach back to Genesis to find these laws. If he's consistent, which he's not, most Christians aren't. The Sabbath is in Genesis chapter 2. The clean and unclean designations for animals, Genesis chapter 7. Tithes, Genesis 14. Oh, they keep the tithe law. We take back to Genesis 14 on the tithe law. We can't forget the tithe law. Genesis 17. Circumcision. Animal sacrifices. The firstling of the flock, Genesis 4. And I could go on and on and on. And that's because it wasn't just wrong to murder and steal prior to the Torah of Moshe. All of these other things in Yahweh's law given to Moshe existed. The law is called the law of Moshe because Yahweh caused the law to be codified through his appointed prophet Moshe. The law existed orally by word of mouth from father to son back in the book of Bereshit. So it's silly to try to teach we're against murder and against homosexual practice and against theft because it's in Genesis, but yet you neglect Sabbath, you neglect diet, you neglect sacrifices, you neglect circumcision. It doesn't make any sense, brothers and sisters. We have deceivers, false prophets on social media teaching people that it's okay to break the Almighty's instructions that he gave for our good. At the very least, they are demoting people's level in the kingdom of heaven. And at the very most, they are sending people to eternal destruction and separation from our Heavenly Father.